Peggy Sue, of course, is Bright's now lost former cricket, then familiar, then toad. Still familiar, and now Peggy Sue is no more after a necrotic tendril to the...
Frog, not toad, frog.
Oh, frog.
She was a water-based frog. Toads live on land.
It's like the difference between turtles and tortoises. So yes, so we're kind of at a point of resummoning. Mordecai, you are working to try and find a way to get the chicken off your face. I am imposing a little bit of DM retcon where the chicken is not yet removed from your face because there's a little bit of stuff that I want to do regarding that. And then Celine, regarding your removal of your blue status, or any of you, if you're going to use magic to clean yourself up of, we'll just kindly call it mud that you received on the battlefield. Any of that we can fall out. I mean, we did have a minute where Noralai was exploding with magic once around for a minute here. So what I want to do first is let's go over to Celine, and if there's any little things that we need to touch on first in this moment after the battle. I mean, the battle takes place, Celine. There's nothing that you can say or do that's going to prevent that. This is a fixed moment in time to use Doctor Who references. However, in the aftermath of the fight, here I'll even whisk us back to the barnyard, where you had all these kind of you had these cows by night watching you with all the creepy eyes that were they're all kind of lit up from the lantern and looking around here. So we had this fight, and Tazray and Mordecai were having a bit of a heart-to-heart, and I had Celine just sort of chilling out here, looking around, making sure nothing funny was going to happen, since Tazray, he gave in pretty quickly, and he just sort of played it cool against the silo, and was being not a chupacabra, because he wasn't eating goats, he was eating chickens.
So rather than a chupacabra, he was a false procabra. I'm trying to understand.
Chupacabra and false procabra, yes.
Or
I'm clever.
A pollo cabra, maybe. Yeah, I think that's how that would work. So Celine, Jack was invoked. He was referenced before the fight began, and nothing really happened with him over the course. If you watch the VOD, he didn't spring out. He wasn't a little carbuncle summon for you or anything during this fight. Is there anything here as the party was breaking? You had Bright and Jade in this tender moment in the dark here. And Peggy Sue was involved in that as well. You had Noralai, who went swimming in this kind of stagnant barn pond, and then Mordecai and Tazray were having a bit of a heart-to-heart, as much as creatures who really no longer need their hearts at least to beat are having one. What is there anything you would like to do here?
So basically, Selena's gonna look down at herself and just see that it's just blue, and she's just like, ah, why?
It was magical feedback as you and Mordecai cast at the same time, and he just sort of.
Selena's gonna take a couple of moments to think. And then she's going against the smart part of her brain. She's going to attempt to cure that via means of a remove curse. She thought about using Lesser Restoration, but then she figured that Lesser Restoration probably doesn't cover things like this.
Okay. So you are going to cast Remove Curse, and since we're sort of floating, I'm going to determine at some point in time. All right, so we have a 2. So I'm going to pretend that 2 other spells were cast before you in determination of whether or not this is going to be causing a wild magic effect to occur.
Okay.
And a wild magic effect does not occur as you cast Remove Curse. Remove Curse, it makes your skin tingle all over, but it doesn't seem to change the blue. Like it's like reacting. It's interacting, but it is not. It's not removing the blue, but it does seem to sort of interact with it in a way that kind of makes you feel funny all over.
Crap. Okay, that was a third level spell slot. I mean, the other kind of restoration spell that I have is lesser restoration, but I doubt that's gonna work. But I might as well try it.
Okay, you're still safe. Again, you're or not really even again. Your body still continues to have kind of a tingle to it. You know, you're getting almost like a pins and needles, like your skin is like waking up. But so something is happening. Maybe not directly what you're seeking, but there is something.
Crap, okay,
The conversation between Tazray and Mordecai is somewhat brief. Is he's kind of like leaning in and they're talking about a couple of thises and that's. But Tazray is going to be taking off and kind of going his own way here. So if you wish to pull Mordecai to the side while the tender moment to your south is going on, you may do so.
Yeah, I think I might do that. I am not meant to be blue! Blue is fine for tieflings, not for half-elves!
It's a good color blue, though.
Yes, but not on me!
You tried to get it removed? Yeah.
These shoes, this shirt, this color? God, no! Oh!
You wear all black. Goes with anything.
Really doesn't.
It does, too.
Does not.
You were too pale anyway. Get over it. And he walks away.
God!
Okay, so Mordecai is walking off. Celine,
Okay.
You're in an interesting sort of magical situation here. You can continue to apply magic. You can think about. I know this is probably a bit of a panic moment, but you have some options. You can let it go. You can try and apply some more magical makeup to yourself. You can think about the situation. Where would you like this to go as we're resolving anything that you're doing here on the battlefield?
Well, whilst Mordecai walks off, she might see if a remove curse on him might fix it. It's the only other idea that she has currently.
Sure.
Because it's a touch spell.
Okay. Whew, still safe. We're building up, all right, so, Mordecai, as you go to leave, Selena's reaching out to, I guess, what, you're gonna, like, grab his shoulder or something, or...
Yeah.
It's touch. I mean, unless you're going to give him a good game, you know, that's... good game there, Mordecai. Um, you touch Mordecai with remove curse, and your skin returns to its normal color.
Celine just lets out a sigh. It's like, better, much better. No body dysmorphia for me.
However, Mordecai, you still do have a chicken beard.
Yes, I do.
Unfortunately, I don't know what to do about the chicken beard. If I could help with the chicken beard, I would. But currently, well, chicken beard is different to, blue skin.
I'm not excited about this. Should we grab the others?
Yeah, I mean, we should, but at the same time, just gonna check something real quick. Wait, is it? But at the same time, they seem to be having a bit of a moment. We should leave them be.
Okay.
So, Selena's just gonna let their little scene play out because, well, she's not getting, getting in the middle of that.
Jack is invisible, but does tell you that you looked much better when you were blue, and is slightly sad that you decided to remove that. Is there anything?
Celine is going to give Jacques a death glare in his general direction.
I was going to say, you don't know exactly where he is, but sure, you can sort of scan and pout and narrow your eyes. Okay. Then is there anything else you wish to do here on the battlefield, Celine, or are we going to advance time to Brighton Mordecai back in the tumbled wench?
We can advance time. I'm not going to do anything else.
Okay. So we are going to march you all back. We have now we have our gnome and our tiefling here, at least the tiefling who's currently present. We're having a bit of a discussion between each other. They're talking about, well, maybe this is how I can bring back Peggy Sue, who is Bright's familiar, that unfortunately was a casualty in the barnyard fight. And Mordecai was discussing a little bit about, at least about one aspect of something he learned from Tazray in their little chat by the silo. Darkwell, hey, don't worry about it. Just, don't be in a rush. We're here. You join us when you're ready. We're getting everything caught up. Now, Bright, you're working on a ritual that you and Mordecai were going to go take out sort of to a side yard, and you were making a bit of a concoction of elements that you think will bring back Peggy Sue from wherever she may have been sent. Do you want to pick up here, or is there anything else that you want to give a little bit of touch up to before we get into this?
Not really. I just want Mordecai to come with me, just in case someone comes along and could interrupt the ritual and get in the way, or in case I just to make sure that nobody else gets hurt, or in case I get knocked down by my own kerfluffing, that he'd be there to pick me back up. And the magic is actually really simple. The only thing that actually has to burn is the incense, but everything else needs to be kind of around and contacted by the fire, so that, well, the incense and the body also has to burn, and the incense. But everything else just has to be there so that she can sense it, and that's how she knows how to find me, and that the summoning is for her, and not just some random face spirit. Because I don't want some random face spirit, I want my face spirit.
Very well then. I know, Mordecai, you're kind of scratching at the chicken on your face. Now, since the heat of battle has cooled off, you do find that there's an awareness to you that is it's something well you're only now aware of, and that's it's almost like you can't see, but you can almost feel the warmth that Bright gives off. You can hear the breathing of people. You can it's a little bit like you are on Luciferase, but not as intense, or sort of like everything is assaulting you with stimuli. That this is just more of a passive effect, as it seems like you're aware of the bodies that are around you, and how this is working, or how they are working. In addition, while you have suffered, you've suffered some injuries. In fact, you were pretty well knocked out twice in that combat. You're hungry, but you're not starving, which is odd in a way. I mean, because your body is going to need, it needs to recover. Now, you can heal yourself, but blood can also can get you back up. But it's like the edge has been taken off of your hunger right now.
Is that because I have a chicken stuck to my face?
It may.
Weird. Still gonna want to try and take it off because I have an image to uphold.
I'm not saying you can't. But leading up to this ritual, I wanted you to be aware of. Because remember, you did drink Celine's blood twice, and you also have a chicken on your face. So there are some circumstances that I wanted to make sure we could get to and narrate, because your physiology and how you feel is at least partially in my hands to make sure that I'm narrating and presenting to you about what could be different as you're trying to understand your vampiric condition, and even to an extent, Celine, as she observes you externally here, would come to understand it. Not that she would know your inner feelings that I just narrated, unless you talk to her about it.
Right.
All right, so we will we'll come upon the scene where Bright has the elements together, and you have found this side yard, so that in the case that you might accidentally fireball yourself, hopefully it will minimize any sort of damage or destruction.
Still just doing what I can to get this chicken off my face.
Yep. As you tug at it, it's like, and it's like tugging. It'd be like pulling your own hair. Like you're feeling like some pain stimuli.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, it's gonna take about an hour and 10 minutes. So,
You do what you need to.
I'm ready whenever. Okay. So I put the bowl, and I put the pearl is in the bottom of the bowl, and then there's some swamp water and some gnome tears, very sad little gnome tears, and then there's Peggy Sue's very favorite sticks and leaves.
Yep.
And some worms, because I know she really liked worms because she wouldn't eat crickets, which was fair. And hair from my left floof, and her very favorite little scrap of cloth that she used to hang on to so she didn't fall off of me. And I think that's all. I don't remember what else. And then I put the incense, and I sprinkle some of it on the top of the water and the rest of it around the bowl, and then the body of Peggy Sue goes in too. And then I start the fire, and then I wait for the spirit to come.
Okay. Mordecai, I believe you were playing a little bit of music in the background while this was happening.
I'm just tuning my violin.
Okay.
Not necessarily playing anything. I don't want to be distracting.
Okay.
I think the tuning is probably more distracting than a song would be.
What a bunch of discordant notes from an ill-tuned instrument wouldn't.
Yeah. I could play something.
I'd like that better.
Sure. Mordecai, go ahead and set the mood. You can make a performance at advantage.
Alright.
Hey, that's a 19. That's pretty good.
I'm good at this.
Okay, so not magic as, a direct invocation of force or will upon reality, but Mordecai's music fills the air and is setting a tone as you are resummoning, restoring, reviving, something along those lines, Peggy Sue. And all these elements are coming together. The incense is also is filling this little like side yard here. It's sort of like clinging around, almost as if the ambient magic or your force is just sort of keeping it here in the area to make this this spot a signal. This spot is something important. This is your signal to wherever Peggy Sue is. Come here, remanifest, and let's be together again. Hello to all of you who are popping by. By the way, Sawfang's probably gone, but thank you for very much for the host. Funny Dill, and Perugia, it's good to see you as well. So, welcome and enjoy. You can always do a little bit of side RP over here, too, if you'd like. And the spell and the music are interacting with each other here. There's like this latent force, the incense. Mordecai, it's... it's pungent. You're having no trouble even like smelling it or inhaling it here, and it's weaving into everything that's happening. And the spell will conclude, or the ritual. I mean, it's a spell, but it's a ritual. And something will also happen when there's a puff of smoke. The the components are consumed and used up and are manifesting, and there's a figure that's forming inside of the puff of smoke that's in this dish of burning material. And in particular, that is going to be a 47. And a 47 is going to be a unicorn controlled by the DM appears in a space within 5 feet of you. Okay. So, what is going to happen is...
Made by mistake. She's going to be my new familiar.
A tiny unicorn walks out of the smoke cloud and looks up at you, Bright, and looks over to Mordecai, and just sort of like happily, like, uses its front hooves to kind of like paw a little bit, kind of rears up. So this is a unicorn that's like the size of a cat.
Oh. Well, this isn't exactly... Is this Peggy Sue? Can I tell? Does my familiar sense tell me that it's her?
Yes.
Or is this just some other unicorn?
No. You're getting a vibe that this is in fact Peggy Sue. She's like coming out of this magical smoke and seems to be reincarnated as a unicorn.
Huh. A tiny unicorn. Well, hi. I don't have a unicorn plushie. That's not one of the ones that I have. So we'll just use the dragon.
With
Please stand by dragon.
With a
Wait.
And upon sneezing, 2 wings pop out of the sides of the unicorn's shoulders.
Oh, it's a Pegasus unicorn. Fun. Hi. I don't know if you can hold on to me with hooves or not. That's going to be kind of awkward. You might have to walk now.
If you all see what Derek has here as
Yeah, I don't have ponies.
that's fine. Don't worry. We'll get through this. But roll with it.
I have a narwhal, but it's not right here.
They are the unicorn of the sea. So Peggy Sue, the tiny unicorn, sort of starts flapping and is going in circles, just sort of like woo, does a little flip, and
well, that's fun. Well, hi. I'm glad to have you back. You didn't come back in the form I expected, but I'm really glad to have you back, and I will give her a nice big hug.
Oh, that's right. She'll be articulate now too.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to learn all the things she can do now, so it's kind of a surprise.
all right. So you're getting some nuzzles and interaction from this. Well, not a cricket, not a frog, and
That's interesting. I'm really glad. Okay, that's all. I also need to conjure up Betty because I'm a mess. I mean, I probably don't look it right now, but I'm actually a mess, and my room is a mess, and my outfit is a mess, and I just need a little bit of help.
sure.
So I'm going to spend 10 more minutes to conjure up Betty so that she can do some cleaning.
Okay.
That's what they have housekeeping at the Tumbled Wench for, Bright.
Oh, I still feel bad about it. Oh no.
Nope. It's fine. The magic went off when you summon Peggy Sue. When you summon Betty, your invisible servant. I mean, you're feeling that closeness that magic is drawing near, but there's nothing to worry about, as nothing aside from Betty manifests.
Okay, that's good. So I'm going to take Peggy Sue back in the and we'll catch up. And I just feel so much better now. I was really worried. So I need to ask, did the bull survive?
Yes. Yeah.
And the little pearl that was in the bottom of the bowl.
Yes.
Okay.
As wild magic is just that. It causes some interesting effects, and in this case, we'll say that the pearl in the bowl, in which you were burning all the materials, the pearl's probably looking not as bright and pearly as it would because it has been singed. It's probably still usable.
That's why I put it in the bottom of the water.
Yeah. But it's it might just need a little bit of a and
Betty can clean it up too. She's really good at clean jewelry. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Mordecai and Bright return to the Tumbled Wench from their little side adventure here. This would, I mean, we can presume that that Norlai is somewhere around as well. But here we have. Speaking of summons, I get a little familiar. I guess here's mine. But you all are together, and you can hang out in each other's rooms. You can. It would be the following day. Nice and. Unless I don't know if you wanted to do it at night. I guess you don't have to do it during the day. It's not time dependent. But when are you doing this ritual? Are you doing it the next day in the morning? Are you doing it night before you?
This all would have been at night before bed.
Okay, sure. That's fine too then. All right, so you come back and it's definitely it's early in the morning. And your stuff is out to get cleaned magically, or not. I mean, Mordecai, if you want to send out for kind of dry cleaning or whatever the equivalent would be here, you can.
Done, yeah.
Okay.
Wearing different clothes
Hey,
today.
you're staying in the penthouse suite. You get full service here.
I don't trust the housekeeping. I would rather have Betty do my cleaning.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Morning comes, question mark? All right, I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, Bright, I mean, your things are going to get finished in short order, and that's not a gnome joke. They'll be hung up and maybe just a tad still damp in the morning, but at least they were magically hand washed. Mordecai, your things are dry and folded, very neatly pressed, just the right amount of starch that you wanted, in your clothes here. So it's a nice crisp collar if you'd prefer. One second.
If we're all awake, are we gathered together?
Well, kind
What
of.
about
You're sharing. You're sharing two rooms that are connected by an inner door, and each of your rooms are fantastic in and of themselves. So, whomever's sleeping in whichever room, you're still going to be able to interact or see with each other, unless one of you wants to like bar the door on your own side. As you're getting up, there's a knock on, we'll say, the side that, the side that Jade's on. Jade, whether you're in the left part of the room or the right part of the room that's connected internally here, there's a knock on your door.
Whose door is being knocked on? Is that Jade's?
Yeah, so whoever's bunking up with Jade, you and Jade would be hearing this. I'll leave that up to you all.
Thought we all had our own rooms.
There's
2 rooms.
so it's like you can have your own room, like, because you're in a penthouse, but there's like it's like a dormitory, right? I mean, you have the rooms, and then there's like a bathroom in each, but the 2 rooms have a door on the inside that you can go back and forth, so you don't have to leave the rooms. But
Okay.
so the part in which there is a bedroom for Jade and a bedroom for someone else, there's a knock on that door for the common area.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I found out why it was that I couldn't end up here. Actually, apparently no one could hear me for like the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, were you on mute?
Oh,
No, I wasn't on mute. It's a program I have open. If I'm on that window, it seems to circumvent my hotkey. So.
all right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well
Okay.
then, if
It's
you would like to
okay, it's
catch
okay.
up,
It's okay. But Jade will end up standing here immediately. Little bit paranoid. The world is just so much bigger right now. This must be how Bright feels existence. She starts to end up walking to the door and kind of opens it a bit and creaks it open, probably only 2 inches. Just this one wild eye looking through the crack in the door, trying to observe who it is.
you're getting someone who's dressed very nicely, very beautiful clothes embroidered, and you recognize the sigil of the Flowerfield family upon his breast. He looks in. Ma'am, excuse me. I have a message for you from the head of the household, Ripol Flowerfield.
You're too good for her, and you're trying so hard. There's no need to end up dressing up. You'll not impress her that way.
Excuse me.
Closes the door.
Excuse me, I have come to get you. You've been summoned to the Flowerfield estate.
Yeah, there's someone who's wanting to. Well, they want to get us. Seems to be dressed up really well. Bright, I think you have a suitor.
Oh. I'll go over to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Don't scare the man.
Okay. That's really more your thing, so I think it'll be okay. Hi.
Oh, ma'am. Oh, yes.
I'm down here.
yes.
Yeah, I's down here. Thanks.
I've come to fetch you all and bring you to the Flowerfield estate.
Oh, okay. That's really good news because we were starting to wonder.
If you are in a
how
decent
long do we
condition
have
and
to get
bathed,
ready?
I can take
'Cause,
you now.
I mean, we were all up pretty late last night, so we're all kind of tired. So we'll just have to. It'll take us just a minute to get our things together.
I understand. If you require time, I've been afforded a bit of a budget to fetch you, realizing that
Okay.
this is a somewhat early hour for many people.
Hour is it actually?
Why, it is 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just enough time. I think we'll be. It'll take us maybe half an hour to get ready.
Very well. Don't bother yourself with the food here. You will be served something at the mansion. I'll be waiting for you down in the lobby, and from there we'll proceed to the carriage.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll get all of our friends together, and Jade, and we'll be right there.
Very well. And he gives you he gives you a salute, a very formal. He turns on his heel crisply, and he doesn't even like clop off because you get carpet in the hallways here, so it's a nice muffled as he marches away.
Wait, is he a human or a tiefling?
Human.
He just has boots then, or something.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, I'll go tell Jade that's not a suitor. That's just a guy in a suit. Not the same thing. We'll,
He's a man in a suit. He's a suitor. And I thought
Suited.
he was
That's not how that works, Jade.
Yeah. So everyone else notices that I'm a little confused as to who's in the room, other than me and Jade. But everyone else, did you hear and see? It's time for us to go. The Flowerfields have finally contacted us, and then I'll go knock on the other door.
Oh, yay. Okay, well, that's what we're doing. Celine at this point would be just fresh out of a morning bath, so she is completely nude. It's like, right, well, I'll get changed and we can go.
Okay.
Celine's still blue.
No, Celine is not.
No.
blue.
Okay.
It's her you can see her in all of her pale alabaster glory.
Okay. that's a lot of glory for
The sunlight is just blinding.
The beacon has been lit! Got dark holes raid!
Okay. And I'll get Mordecai too.
Okay.
Oh, am I in this penthouse by myself? Are all the other girls sharing a room?
No, it was confusing.
No, so you can have your own like little bedroom area. So there's the penthouse can be broken up. There's like a common area and a bathroom. Then there's like a couple like little private bedrooms that go to a common area, and the two common areas are linked by this internal door between the two. So you can open it up, and then it's one big penthouse on the upper floor, the tumbled wench here. And so that's what you're in. So I mean, Bright can very well just come up and, on your door to your bed space. It's probably just like a desk and a bed and like a shelf or something. So you can be, woken up in so much that you are woken up, but
I stir. But yeah, I'm awake and getting dressed. And so, yeah. Although, is Jade still wearing rags?
I don't think there'll ever be a day where that doesn't change.
I have a spare costume. It's yours if you want it. I'm not getting anything from you, Derek.
That's why I'm always worried about. I want nothing from you, abomination.
ooh.
Oh my.
You can't go to the flower fields looking like that again.
The woo is here.
Why not?
Hey, whoa!
Why are the wolves howling?
No, there's no whole telling.
I'm watching you. With that, she just walks off.
Okay.
Suit yourself.
Noted.
Sorry I woke up late.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's time to go. The Flowerfields just sent for us. We've got just a few minutes to get ready.
Oh, okay. I gotta feed Herbert and Yori first, though.
Gonna give us some.
All right. So you take some time to prepare. I guess what you give Herbert, your baby Sentry Vine, a little bit of water. Yori, Yori's a winged
I give
snake.
Yori
so...
an egg.
Okay, an egg.
Yep.
He'll gobble it up, and you just. So the journey begins. Just a nice lump that starts here, and by the afternoon, you can sort of like track its progress here. You could use them like an egg timer. Like you just see sort of how far down Yori the ovoid object has gone, and you can tell how much time has passed here.
Oh yay! We turned Yori into a clock.
I don't know if you want to try to reset for my camera.
Okay, yeah, it was bugging on just a little bit, but we'll work it out here.
So are we walking, or are we getting?
I think they'll probably have a carriage for us. I mean, whoever they sent for us probably came in some sort of carriage, and they'll probably take us back. Oh no, we'll find out, because they'll be waiting for us downstairs.
Yep, he was down in the lobby for you.
Okay.
All right. So, go ahead.
We get time for a long rest, though, even with our spells, right?
Yep. You have longly rested.
Okay.
Taking some time to get your things together, primp your hair, check your clothes for whatever, or just sort of, wake up and take on the day. A little bit of time passes, and sure enough, there's the man in the very smartly dressed outfit, wearing the same family crest of the Flowerfields, who is sitting with very perfect posture in a chair, facing the staircase. So as you come down like the debutantes that you are, he immediately stands to attention, gives you a very polite and civil bow, and tells you we can be on our way if you are ready. Is there anything you require? Besides food, you will be fed.
No, I'm ready.
Very well. Then attend me, and I'll take you to the carriage. It will be waiting. You go outside. Jade, as you walk past the stable boys out there, and he just kind of like waves to you.
Jade looks at him, kind of leans in, kind of wiggles some fingers like, hi. Leans over to Celine. Do you have any idea on who that stable boy is?
No, I do not. I do not know who that stable boy is.
Just walks off like she completely forgot about him.
Okay. He just kind of watches you walk past. He goes back to mucking out the stables.
Maybe he's someone that's interested in you, Jade. No?
If that was ever on your mind, kind of fixing up a little bit might help in that regard.
I think you could be really pretty. I would love to help you braid your hair. Look, I could give you floofs like mine, although they wouldn't be pink.
I've got makeup and costumes.
I got it.
Oh,
Do I appear to be someone's rag doll. And she reaches into her pack and pulls out this doll that has nothing but nails and pins and all sorts of small sharp implements in it. Is this what I am to you? And she starts pulling out a pin and starts weaving it under her own skin. Is this what I am? Am I pretty now? Am I pretty now?
Well, some people are really into piercings, so, from that standpoint, probably.
I got my ears pierced.
Alright, well then. And proceeds to start putting it closer, like she's going to actually work it under the eyelid.
Okay, well, you want to be real careful, because you can see a lot of cool things, so you want to be careful not to hurt yourself.
The carriage gives a little bit of a rock as your coach driver gets onto the bench.
Right through the nose.
All right, if you're ready back there, I'm going to hit the road.
I feel pretty. I'm so pretty.
4 points of piercing damage.
Okay, marking that down.
It's actual piercing damage this time.
I've had multiple piercings. That one looked nasty.
Oh yeah, piercing cartilage is a bugger. It's like trying to get tattoo in the underarm.
Oof.
Ooh, yeah.
Oof. So yeah, the carriage kind of gives a little boot as you're kind of even like pulling it out, and so you got you have a nosebleed, but it's coming from the top, not the bottom. And I don't know, maybe you give a little bit of a whistle as you breathe too, kind of you're blowing some bubbles. Oh, I didn't hear that, Derek.
I love that imagery.
So there you go. There are all kinds of freshly cut flowers that are inside this carriage, giving a nice perfumed smell. There's nothing here that would offend any of your sensibilities as a vampire or fae or a quasi-manifestation of either of those. Just nice, fresh flowers. Your Mordecai, your beard is still kind of like dozing here. Just kind of.
I wasn't able to get it off at all.
Not yet.
No.
Well, if you want it off, you can cut it off. It's going to cause a lot of pain because it's attached to you. That's going to be up to you, though, and I think you were worried about a scar.
Is it fused with, like, just the feathers, or is it skin-to-skin contact?
The bird is sort of fused here with your cheeks and chin. As per, like,
So you can't get rid of it until you sneeze.
It's bone-to-bone contact.
Did you find anything about it in the book that I gave you or loaned you? It was really the chicken's idea. It just kept saying book, 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 book.
I'm surprised I actually was able to rest. Because that thing, it barks all the time. I hate it.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
It's a noisy pest.
But it's just sort of hanging limp, so you just sort of have this like kind of Santa-looking chicken beard going on. Now, I mean, for his determination in being a loyal servant to the Flowerfields, you were not given a second look by the coach driver. But anyway,
Giving myself a second look in the mirror.
and so here we are, like I'm providing a little bit of a camera action here as you're going down the cobbles. You make your way to the glorious estate of the Flowerfields.
Before that happens, about how long do we know how long the carriage ride is?
Let's see. You're going at a decent pace. You're not racing through the streets, so probably about 15 minutes.
So, Mordecai would probably want to bring up some of the information that he got from Tazray
Sure.
on the way there.
Yep, go ahead.
Tazrin was a big help. He says with sarcasm.
I mean, did you really expect anything different?
Well, he said that he knew where Tibba was, and so I expected him to know where Tibba was. Instead, he said the only thing that he said to me was, think how we would think. And I've never known him to be cryptic.
He's not smart enough to be cryptic.
No, he's really not. That's... Think how we would think.
And so I'm hoping that you all have ideas because I am fresh out.
Huh, that's really weird. I think we have to consider the possibility that he's working for them. And he could have just been there just to be a distraction to us and stop us from doing anything useful.
It's incredibly frustrating.
Maybe they find themselves at the bottom of wells and rivers in order to avoid the sunlight. Can't stay too far in. Well, unless there's abandoned buildings, places where the sun does not dare shine. Well, there's that. And the need for blood. Going to the doctors, trying to end up seeing who ended up feeling sick just a little bit. Maybe a slaughter of cattle or other such things might be. Because think of what the abomination needs all the time. The red wine.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, we know that they can't be moving too freely in the city because they'd get, there's all these flowers and they'd get caught by the flowers.
Yeah. He said that they got attacked when they tried to enter the city and were more or less staved off. So, that theory's correct. They may be going on the outskirts and hitting farms for blood or something.
Matty, was there a river or a lake nearby?
Relatively nearby, there was a stream, yes. Well, I mean, I guess stream or river. You did have to cross it, and then you sort of went over hill and dale, which is also where you found those, or you saw those kind of odd shadow giant things kind of romping around in the flowers. So there is something like that is outside of town, yes.
Perhaps the shadows guard them at night, walking and watching during the day. Staying just outside, they can get in quick enough if they do needs to. I'm hoping somebody heard that earlier comment. Am I muted?
We're hearing you. I'm just trying to figure out what you meant.
We could take Herbert outside the city and see if
I don't know how effective
there's anything else.
That's a single ping on...
Did Herbert react to Tazray when we were in the fight? Because I think they usually only react up close, and you didn't really get that close to him. And Herbert, I was pretty busy getting hit by all those different spirits and things, but I don't remember.
Well, he does react because I tested it on you and Mordecai when he wasn't looking.
Like, Mordecai's just right there, and Herbert's not reacting right now.
Did you bring
So I don't
Herbert
know.
with you?
Yeah, I brought Herbert.
Oh, then he's going nuts. You all are in a confined carriage together. This thing is just snapping and straining and just relentlessly, like...
That should have been left, Norla.
Well, I didn't notice.
It's not really barking, but it might as well be... It's just... all trying to snap at everyone but Norlai.
He's not hurting anyone.
He's friendly.
Snapping.
Don't worry, he's friendly.
Speaking of which, Norlai,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a weapon?
Yeah.
Why didn't you use it?
Because it was a ghost, and I don't think my knife would work on a ghost.
Celine was using her rapier on a ghost.
I didn't see her. It was dark, and I was kind of far away from everyone.
It didn't really work all that well either. Celine wasn't really quite herself last night. She would normally be more effective.
Oh boy.
The reason I ask is because it's only going to get worse.
Well, I only have a dagger. And usually I use my magic for things, but it's hard to use magic around here.
Do you know how to use a
Well,
crossbow?
see, there is a way to deal with this, but it's expensive, very expensive.
I do know how to use a light crossbow.
So he takes out his light crossbow and his crossbow bolt case and just hands it to her. That's in case you need to use something.
Oh, okay. Thank
Well,
you.
See, Mordecai, against things such as the ethereal, normal metals won't do.
No, but
Now, I mean, I know a way around. I know a way around
your
this.
magic Lorelei, then you need something effective, and so I'm giving this to you because we need you to be useful.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not trying to be an asshole, but be effective. 'Cause we're only
An
gonna
invisible,
need somebody to
disembodied
kill.
voice says, "But you still are." Not from the driver.
Why are you all looking at me? I didn't say or think something for once.
No, it's pointing at me.
Looking at Mordecai. But you still are, in his head.
Your voice in my head is creepy, just in general.
Such accusations. Anybody can be making those accusations. Anybody can put their voice in your head. Are you sure the hunger is not getting to you?
No, it's not getting to me.
Liar!
Anyway, with that being said, let's see. Well, we can be sure, according to Tazray, that more of these flowers are going across Mesotopia as well. So,
What did he tell you about flowers going to Mesotopia?
like,
I mean, how does he know?
he said that because that's what Tibba told him? Question mark. That his father and him were traveling Mesotopia more or less to make these flowers apparently, and they're probably going to be all over Mesotopia at some point.
Interesting. So, do you think he's doing it? They're getting ready for vampires to be coming, and they're trying to set up a line of defense. But then why would they be keeping it secret? Why wouldn't they just be, like, giving them away and just spreading them as fast as they can?
Because they have something to hide.
Might.
So, I don't know what to do about any of that. Been thinking about it pretty much all night. So, apparently there's preparing for incursions, preparing for some kind of defense, or I don't know. I suppose we'll know when we talk to the Flowerfields again, at least get permission to go after Tibba.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping. I mean, we don't really need permission. We just don't have any information.
Yeah. Kind of a dead end.
Okay.
Are there any other points that you'd like to bring up on the carriage ride? No? Okay.
Not as yet.
Well, wouldn't you know it, conveniently, the Flowerfield mansion is drawing up ever closer in the windows of the carriage. And you pass through the main gates. It looks like the gardeners are busy outside. And there are a couple other folks who are bringing some crates and other supplies in and out of the mansion. When you pull up, the carriage once more goes whoop as the driver hops down, and you hear click, and the door opens up to let the sunshine in. Ladies and gentlemen, I have brought you to the Flowerfield Mansion. Please, I will take you to the door, and there, the esteemed butler will take you to where you need to go. Alrighty. Sure enough, Orchid, the butler, meets you at the door. It is a pleasure to see you again.
You as well, sir.
You all are looking whole. Very good. Is there anything that I can get you?
Well, I think just this once, I think we would like to get down to business as quickly as we can.
Very well. I will take you to a waiting room, and I will inform Master Flowerfield that you have arrived. Please follow me.
Oh yeah, we can tell them about the things that we have now too.
You follow... Oh, okay. It was just a sneeze. As you're making your way, you see that, well, it's a grand estate, and yet for all of the decoration, in fact, now that we're inside, we can revisit it. For all of the decoration, the fancy sculptures everywhere, the chandeliers, the Flowerfield Mansion is rather empty. I mean, given the circumstances of your first visit, I mean, with, Jade the Unicorn, and there's a bunch of mourners, it was kind of like a party, because they're still serving hors d'oeuvres, and there's chat and conversation. Now, the only other person besides the butler you've seen is a tiefling maid, who, as you're passing by the kitchen, seems to be working on this or that, and she kind of leans over and notices that you all are here. But you are taken to a waiting room. This isn't just a little side parlor. It's actually more like what you're seeing here in the image. There's couches. It's nice and open. It's still kind of a chilly spring morning here, so they even have a fire going. And the butler, as he seats you, goes over to the mantle and takes a handful of some kind of powder and throws it into the fire. And it makes a nice colorful smoke, but also just this aroma just sort of wafts through the room. He turns and tells you that should you need anything else, please pull this cord. And Bright, you see that there's a similar like little gong cord in this room, like there is in the den that you were in originally. And that Lily will be bringing you some food shortly, some food or tea. And if you need anything in particular, you can let her know as well.
Okay.
He leaves and he closes the doors here. So while there is glass that is showing you other parts of the house from the interior, you are not in an open room, so you're not hearing any pots or pans banging around. There's no other shuffling or movement besides the crackle of the fire, and you all that are here.
Do you think this
can be
is
rather
good?
attacking, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I didn't hear you.
She wants squid.
I
Oh,
was gonna go to the market this morning.
I don't
You
really
do it
want any
after
squid.
we're finished here. I mean, I'm not
Maybe we
really a
can-
big fan of seafood.
Maybe we can stop for squid on the way home.
And bananas. Gotta find bananas.
It's really hard to find bananas.
Yes. No. No. Okay. Okay. So find them. Find Tibba. Kill them. Rescue Tibba. Kill the abomination.
We can skip that
Glad we
part.
got that in.
We can skip that last one.
No. We really can't. But I'll be kind in putting it to the last of the order.
Crack, crack, snap. The fire continues to pop, and as it does so, little wisps of smoke are sort of added to the gently rising column that's coming up from the logs and such. Minutes. Several.
I'm surprised they're not in more of a hurry.
10.
Is this usual for people who are filthy rich?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the people, but generally yes. Sometimes it's like a power trip. They like to keep you waiting so that they put you off balance, and then it's like they're keeping themselves more important than you by making you wait. But since we're trying to find their missing son, they should, I think, be a little more.
Hasty.
But I mean, I didn't really have anything else to do today, and it's a pretty comfortable sofa.
That's true.
It very much is. Beautiful embroidery. You're getting, again, what you kind of see here, a bunch of different flowers of many different colors and shapes are just sewn into it. And, there's even like a sun with a face that's a part of the motif as well. And everything here is just, the woodwork just has these swirls of vines and ivies and people who are engaged in various, I guess, activities that are in the murals that are in the that are carved into the walls, like what you're seeing in the picture above here. You see through the glass the apparently the head maid, who is the tiefling you saw prior, and she, while you do see her through the door, she still gives a very polite on it, and she lets herself in. And it's then you open the door and you realize that the cart was squeaky, though you didn't hear it through the doors. And she comes in, sort of puts her hands on her hips as she looks around to each of you here. Oh, I remember seeing you all here before. Yeah, you were here for the funeral.
We weren't exactly here for the funeral. We were here at the same time as the funeral.
We were here for the unicorn.
Well, I was being polite is all. I understand that there was, you all were responsible for, destroying some priceless artifacts that the family's owned for many generations. Oh, but who am I to bring up such things? I'm sorry. I'm here to pour you darlings tea.
It was Slane's fault.
Do not blame me!
So in walks this adult tiefling. She has mottled or like freckled blue skin, and the freckles are actually red dots that are manifesting in the kind of like little spots and blotches over her her face and on her arms too. She has dark black hair, but she wears it under like a maid cap with some frills. She is wearing a full like maid outfit as well, very proper apron and such. And in the cart are some tools of her trade as well, not just what's beneath these silver dishes that she's opening up in front of you all. She is, well, if her speech didn't indicate it, she is definitely an earthy. She's an earthy type personality, and she also seems to sample her own wares because she does carry a good healthy curve to her body, including her tail and such. So she's a maid of the kitchen, and probably make sure that the food is constantly tested for poison for the Flowerfield family as she does come in. She pours you all very properly. Goes through the ceremony here and asks, any sort of accoutrement that you would like for your snacks and your drinks, and if there's anything that you'd like.
Squid would be preferably.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. What would you like again?
I was hoping. Would you happen to have squid? Squid, yes.
Squid.
Long.
Shoot, squid. Forgive her. She has very eclectic tastes.
Oh.
What would just want to do for this?
I very much can provide you squid.
Well, I believe you just made her day.
Yes, it will take some time. We do have a supply. It has been dried, but I'm sure that I can find a way.
Will be fine.
Very well. I can bring you raw squid. You are a guest here in the house, and just because you're willing to eat raw seafood, in a very nice place like this with people who know many recipes and are otherwise really good at cooking, sure.
Did
I'll be
anybody
sure to...
end up mentioning eating?
That's what she's asking for, Jade.
Jade?
Want something to eat.
Jade,
Yes?
what are you going to do with the squid?
She looks to Celine as her head kind of rotates 90 degrees with this reassuring smile.
Well, you know what? Do with the squid as you like.
Thank you.
It's not my judge. It's not my job to judge. I do judge, but it's not my job to. And I'll be sure to go fetch some for you.
It comes for free, right?
It comes as being an invited guest in the house.
No, I'm talking about the judgment.
Oh, yes, and in spades, too, my dear.
Glory.
So Celine just puts her palm to her face and just shakes her head like, ugh. Just something chocolatey, please.
Chocolate? Yes, of course. I can get you... how bitter would you like your chocolate?
Not at all. I prefer sweet.
I want sweet things too.
Oh. All right. Well...
I know, disgusting, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, you're our guest under our home. And, oh. And you, sir. And she kind of, like, saunters up to Mordecai. And is there anything in particular, a taste that you have that I can supply?
He doesn't like chicken.
You could have fooled me. I'm trying to be very nice here, my dear. You shouldn't bring up things that people probably can't help.
He just gives Norlai just the dad stare. No, he's fine.
Tea it is. And you, oh, my sweet little miss. Look at you, so adorable. And she kind of comes over and gives you that little, like, auntie, you're a pinch for good luck. It's what I've heard about your folk.
Okay, if you really want. Okay, thanks. Ow.
Of course,
yeah.
I could use all the luck I can get.
We feel the same way, actually. But it doesn't work if I pinch myself. I've tried. Okay, so do you have anything? I actually just like really, really simple things. So if you had like some oat porridge or something like that, that would actually be perfect.
Oh, yes, of course. Porridge?
Probably have something like that in the servants.
Well, yes. Now, if you'd prefer, we have sugar that we can put in it, fresh milk. We have some raisins, or I believe we have some banana that we can slice up and put into your porridge.
Do you have a fresh banana?
Oh, yes, of course. We have our own personal supply. We grow it in our hothouses.
I would really love a fresh banana too.
Very well. As in, you wish to peel it yourself, or would you like
Of
me to
course.
peel it? Oh,
Well,
well.
myself.
Very well. I'll make sure to give you a napkin and a plate to put the peel upon.
Okay. I'll be very careful with it.
Very well. Do you prefer your banana sweet as well?
No, just plain, just the way it comes.
Very well. She again kind of gives a little bit of a bluster, looks at all of you. What an odd bunch. I wonder what the master has in store for you. I tell you I know, and I think that I do, but I don't really. Anyway, I'll be seeing you. And she takes her hands, puts on the cart, closes the door, and the sound goes out when the door shuts.
Finally, bananas.
No, I'm really excited. I don't know how they're able to grow bananas here because it's not the right climate, but I'm still really happy that I guess they're just really good at growing plants. That's what they do. So, but I'm really happy. I hope that it I hope that it works out.
All right, a little bit of time passes. You can talk about something if you wish. Otherwise, I'll continue narrating.